it's Amanda, and I am just going to do this weight loss update super informal and quickly because I know that if I just don't do it right now, it's not going to happen. So like I promised, I am doing a weight loss update every 2 weeks. So like I talked about last time, I am still trying to reintroduce foods from the Whole30. I have added in terms of grains, I have added in corn and rice, and my body seems pretty well adapted to that now. So I'm happy about that because my body just feels a lot happier when it has at least a little bit of grain in it. And so I'm happy that I at least have a couple gluten-free grains that my body is satisfied with now. My body has readjusted to those, and so I'm glad that I have those. And just today, I tried to add in a little bit of goat dairy. I really would like to get at least a little bit of dairy back into my diet just because I think there's a lot of nutritional benefit, especially with the raw dairy that we do, or at least cultured dairy. And in terms of the kind of Weston A. Price traditional kind of diet that we follow, cultured goat milk is the easiest on your digestive system. So that's what I have decided to do. I tried just a little bit of cultured goat kefir today, just like a tiny little bit, just like a few sips, just to kind of reintroduce that to my body. Goat milk is actually the most like human milk I've heard in terms of the proteins and everything. It's easier to digest, especially when it's cultured, and kefir has far more strains of good bacteria than yogurt does. That really helps aid the digestion of the proteins in the milk. So I had just a little bit, and so far, I mean, it's been an hour or two since I had it, and so far so good. I mean, I have a little bit of bloating, but I had bloating before that anyway. I mean, I've pretty much just accepted the fact that whenever I eat any kind of food, my belly just bloats. It doesn't matter what it is. It's ridiculous. But so far so good. I haven't had any of the like intestinal pain or anything yet. So we'll see how that goes. I'll have to give you an update on how the dairy is going next time. I am still avoiding legumes just because I know that they still bother me. I have also noticed that certain meats bother my system a little bit as well, specifically beef, which is too bad because I like beef and it's really good, you know, when you have local grass-fed beef, it's actually pretty healthy for you. But even that, my body is having a hard time with. So I have also had goat and sheep, since that's what we have in our freezer. It's from some family members of ours who live on a farm, and they sold us some of their meat. And that also just hasn't, I guess it's just red meat. Red meat is, my body is not super happy with it right now. So, which I guess isn't the end of the world. You know, some people say that red meat is bad for you, others say it's good for you. I really think it depends on the source. If it's coming from a local grass-fed cow that has been in fresh air and healthy conditions and has been well and healthy its whole life, I think that's a lot better for you. Grass-fed meat has a much better omega-3 to omega-6 fats ratio than conventional factory farm raised corn-fed beef. But even still, it's not the end of the world if I'm not eating red meat. I'm still eating a lot of other kinds of meat. Chicken is just fine with my body. Pork seems to be okay. I don't seem to have as big of a reaction with pork as beef and other red meat. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that. I still haven't added in any sort of gluten-y grains just because I'm afraid to. Actually, I take that back. We went to a wedding a couple weeks ago and we ate at this place that is extremely high-end and fancy. That was where the wedding party was. Like, it's probably the highest class place we will ever eat at. It was a 9-course meal and it was like highly gourmet. I've heard that regularly to eat dinner there, it's like $300 to $500 per person. Yeah, so we will probably never go back there again in our lives. I feel really honored that we got to experience that as part of a wedding reception. So it was an amazing experience, but I did eat gluten. I did eat some of the bread that they were offering. Although they did offer me some gluten-free bread as one of the courses as well. So I did have some of the gluten-free bread, but they made everything dairy-free for me, so that was nice. Anyway, so I did have a tiny little bit of gluten and I was extremely bloated that evening. So like more than usual bloated. So, still trying to avoid gluten. That's where I'm at in terms of reintroducing foods from the Whole30. I'm just still taking it really slow just because my body was, you know, kind of at its worst, as I've mentioned in the last update. But like I also, if you guys have been watching my last few videos, I talked about my whole journey with anxiety. If you want to know the whole story about that, I will have those videos linked here in the cards. But I have been on anxiety medication for a little over a month now, and I'm actually really surprised how much it has helped my digestion. It just really makes me realize how much my IBS is connected to my anxiety. And, you know, I feel like I kind of knew that before, but I didn't realize the extent of it. You know, obviously I still am prone to the IBS even when my anxiety is more under control. And, you know, like I said, there are still some foods that are bothering me, but overall, I am starting to add in gluten-free grains and just be a lot more relaxed about what I'm eating, and my body is doing a lot better. I'm not feeling nausea on a regular basis anymore, which I know was definitely anxiety related, and I used to think that it was partly anxiety and partly foods that I was eating, but now, like, even when I was on the Whole30, sometimes I was still getting nausea. That was just my anxiety. So it's really nice now that, like, a lot of my IBS symptoms, they're not gone, but they have calmed way down just from starting on this anxiety medication. So anyway, if you want to know the whole story about that, be sure to go and watch those videos. Just, I'm really glad that I have kind of figured out that part of the puzzle for me, because just having a much more healthy psyche is leading me to have a much more healthy digestive system. And it makes sense when you think about it, like your mind and your body, your mind and your gut, you know, like they're truly connected, especially for like highly sensitive people like myself. Anyway, so that's been a really good thing. In terms of actual weight, I stepped on the scale this morning and I am about where I was last week. So no loss this week. So that's where I'm at now. I'm back down to that plateau number and I just can't seem to break free from that plateau number, but at least it's like a low plateau number. Like, I think I'm still in a net total of 4 pounds lost, which was about where I was at the end of my Whole30. We're moving at glacial pace here, people, but you know, glacial pace, it's still movement, right? It's still moving in the right direction. So in terms of exercise, I have done really well these last couple weeks, especially week before last. I actually achieved my goal of exercising 4 days that week. I wrote it down here. So I did one hardcore elliptical workout for 30 minutes, and then I did a lighter elliptical workout the next day, and then I had a doctor's appointment that week, and it's kind of in a hilly area of town, so I just like walked. I was kid free that day. They were with their grandma, so I just took advantage of that time and I walked all around the area there and walked up and down the hills for a good half hour, and that was a really good workout. The next day after that, I did another hardcore elliptical workout, so I was really proud of myself that I was doing really well in the exercise that week. It definitely makes my body feel good. I think it helps the whole anxiety situation as well, so I'm trying to keep that up. I haven't been quite as good this week. I did do a light elliptical workout earlier this week, and I am actually planning on doing one tonight after I film this video. So, and hopefully I'll do one more over the weekend. So anyway, that is my weight loss update. I'm sorry this is kind of informal, but I knew I just wouldn't get it done if I didn't just sit down and film it. So anyway, be sure to check out the other ladies who are doing this weight loss collab. Like I mentioned, every week I will have their channels linked down below, and some of them are updating every week, some of them are updating every other week like I am, or a little more sporadically, but definitely be sure to go check out their channels. And if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell right next to the subscription button, because that will give you a notification every time I put up a new video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!